What if the one area of life you've been dimming yourself is the exact place your soul came here to shine? Leo energy isn't just about attention, it's about divine visibility and alignment. It's being seen in your truth, not your performance. But most of us have been programmed to hide here, to be quiet, small, humble, instead of being bold, expressive, and fully ourselves. Today, we're talking about the house in your birth chart where your inner star has been dying to shine, but where you may have learned to shrink to survive. In this video, we're going house by house so you can name the fear, heal the wound, and reclaim the power that's been waiting for you. Each house shows a part of life where this Leo energy wants to come alive. So grab your birth chart, find the house or houses where Leo sits, and remember, you don't need to have planets in this house for this to apply to you. Now let's dive in.
If you have Leo in the first house, this is where you're learning that you were never too much. You were just waiting for the world to catch up. You are the light, the presence, the energy in the room. But somewhere along the way, you learned to dim what made you unforgettable. Now, your soul is ready to reclaim it. Leo in the first house means your identity is the spark. You walk into the room and shift the frequency. You don't even have to try. Your presence commands attention, carries warmth, and radiates creative fire. This is a placement that makes you naturally magnetic. You are a walking invitation to see, feel, and remember joy, confidence, and charisma. But that magnetism can feel like a double-edged sword, especially if your light wasn't met with safety early on. Leo on the ascendant means you were born to shine, but raised to perform. So you may have grown up in environments where being bold or expressive made you a target, or earned you love and praise that you had to keep working to hold on to. So instead of simply being, you learned to manage your image. You became the confident one, the capable one, the impressive one. But underneath the surface, a part of you still wondered, do they love me or just the version I created to be accepted? This placement is here to heal that disconnect, to bring you back into embodied authenticity where your outer glow matches your inner truth. Because Leo in the first makes you highly visible, it can also make you hyper aware of how you're perceived. So you may struggle with feeling like you always have to keep up a strong image, deep sensitivity to judgment, criticism, or rejection, needing external validation to feel good about yourself, shrinking or shape-shifting in certain environments to avoid standing out too much, being labeled as dramatic, self-absorbed, or attention-seeking, even when you were just being yourself. Holding back your natural charisma for fear it'll trigger jealousy or backlash. With this placement, there's often an unspoken belief. If I show the real me without the mask, without the polish, will they still stay? But Leo in the first didn't come to perform for approval. You came to embody unapologetic self-expression. This placement often makes you someone who naturally stands out, whether you like it or not. So you may notice people constantly comment on your energy, your vibe, or your aura without even knowing you well. You may notice that you're expected to be the strong one, the leader, the example, even when you're struggling. You may feel like you have to earn your visibility by being useful, funny, beautiful, talented, or helpful. You might notice that you attract attention everywhere you go, but still feel unseen in the ways that matter. You may secretly fear that if you stopped performing, you'd be forgotten. You might also wrestle with your appearance or public identity, oscillating between over-curating and under-presenting, because you've internalized the idea that your image determines your worth. But your true power lies in radical alignment with your real self, the version of you that doesn't need to prove anything. You didn't come here to fit in. You came here to lead by being fully, boldly, luminously you. Your soul shines when you embody your natural charisma without apology. When you inspire others through your authenticity, not your perfection. When you show people that confidence isn't about performance, it's about permission. When you lead through warmth, heart, and personal expression, not just strategy. And when you become the kind of role model who isn't afraid to be fully human and divinely radiant. This placement carries the frequency of the sacred performer, the embodied muse, the confident creative, and the radiant trailblazer. You walk ahead so others can remember how to walk with pride in who they are as well. You don't need a stage to shine. You are the stage. Every room is your canvas. Every moment is your reminder. Your light is a gift, not a threat. To fully activate Leo in the first house, you must release the mask and let your real essence rise. To do this, the first step is to reclaim the parts of you you've been told were too much. That fire, that flare, that was never the problem. It's your magic. Next is to practice mirror work. Speak to yourself like the divine expression you are. Get comfortable being seen by you first. Next is to create space for playful self-expression. Wear what you want. Move how you want. Show up in the world like it's your own kingdom. Next is to let people love the whole you, even when you're unsure, even when you're soft, even when the mask slips. Next is to stop waiting for the perfect moment to be yourself. The moment is now. Your authenticity is the message. And finally, redefine leadership. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be present, passionate, and real. Let your presence become permission for yourself and everyone that's watching. A great affirmation for your Leo-ruled first house is, I am safe to be seen in my fullness. I lead with joy, express with confidence, and honor the radiant truth of who I am. I love to hear how this resonated with you, so be sure to let me know in the comments. And of course, be sure to hit like, send this to someone who needs this reminder, and subscribe to stay tapped in. And if you're ready to start living the version of your life that you actually deserve, my signature one-on-one sessions and tools are all in the description box below. I appreciate you, and thanks so much for watching. If you have Leo in the second house, this is where you're learning that you are the asset. Your radiance is the resource. Your confidence, creativity, and self-expression are not extra. They are your wealth code. But first, you have to stop undervaluing what makes you unforgettable. The second house governs self-worth, money, values, and inner stability. And Leo here brings a powerful message. You don't get your value from the world. You reflect it back to the world through your presence. Leo in the second house means you were born to build your life and your income around your personal magic. Whether that's your voice, your creative talent, your ability to uplift others, your artistry, or your energy. Your light is your offering. But for many with this placement, that light was dimmed early. So you may have been told, you're good at that, but it's not practical. That's a hobby, not a career. Don't be so showy. No one's going to pay you for that. So you learned to disconnect from the very gifts that hold the key to your abundance. You played small. You settled for being useful instead of being valuable. Leo in the second says, your self-worth is the foundation of everything that you're here to build. And when you claim it, the world reflects it back in income, opportunities, and aligned support. This placement often holds deep subconscious programming around unworthiness and overcompensation. You may feel like you have to overperform in order to deserve love, money, or respect. So you might carry fear that your creative talents are not enough to build a life or career from. shame around wanting to be financially rewarded for your gifts, insecurity about asking for what you're worth, especially in work or business, beliefs that being too flashy will make you seem selfish, greedy, or arrogant, confusion around your value. Who am I without the performance? Will I still be chosen if I don't impress anyone? And you may also carry a habit of giving away your energy for free in hopes of being seen as valuable later. Leo here craves recognition, but fears rejection. So instead of claiming the throne, you settle for applause in the cheap seats. Leo in the second house is radiant and magnetic, but when unhealed, it can lead to disempowered patterns around value and money. So you may notice that you're drawn to luxury, beauty, and bold self-expression, but feel guilty indulging in it. You may undercharge or overdeliver out of fear that what you offer isn't worth enough. You may notice that you're praised often, but feel insecure receiving money or visibility in return. You may constantly seek external affirmation, likes, compliments, feedback, to validate your sense of worth. And you may desire financial freedom, but sabotage yourself right before big success. You may also find that you're naturally gifted at making others feel valuable, but struggle to give that same energy to yourself. This placement is a reminder. You can't keep pouring gold into everyone else's cup while convincing yourself you're empty. You are here to embody the truth that self-worth is wealth, that you don't have to earn your value. You simply have to own it. Your soul shines when you monetize your magic with confidence. Share your voice, talent, or gifts as offerings, not auditions. Build a business, brand, or career that reflects your essence, not just your effort. When you anchor into financial systems that support your happiness, not drain it. When you treat your body, space, and time like the luxury assets they are. And when you express yourself with richness through your clothes, your energy, and your environment. Leo in the second house is a money magnet when aligned, because your power lies in how fully you believe in your own brilliance. You were born to be paid, praised, and supported for being you. Not just for what you do, but for the light you bring to everything you touch. To align with this placement, you must reprogram the belief that your value is tied to performance or external validation. In order to activate and heal this placement, the first step is to practice receiving. So compliments, money, support, praise. Don't brush it off. Breathe it in. Let it land. Next is to name your unique value. What is your natural magic? Get specific. Say it out loud and own it. Next is to price your work accordingly, whether it's art, time, or energy. Charge in alignment with your worth, not your fear. Next is to create a ritual around self-worth. Mirror work, affirmations, wearing clothes that make you feel radiant. Treat yourself like someone sacred. Next is to celebrate yourself financially. Every time you earn money doing something aligned with your joy, honor it. Don't downplay your wins. And finally, rewrite your worth script. So you can journal. Where did I learn that I had to prove my value? What am I ready to reclaim now? You are not here to beg for crumbs. You are here to eat at the table you built with your brilliance. A great affirmation for your Leo-ruled second house is, I honor my worth. My gifts are valuable. My presence is magnetic. And I allow abundance to reflect the truth of who I am. Let me know what clicked for you and drop it in the comments. And of course, be sure to like, send this to a friend who needs it, and subscribe so you never miss an upgrade. And if you're ready to start living the version of your life you actually deserve, my signature one-on-one sessions and tools are all in the description box below. I appreciate you, and thanks so much for watching. If you have Leo in the third house, this is where you're learning that your voice isn't just meant to be heard. It's meant to move people. You're not just here to speak. You're here to broadcast truth, joy, and creative fire. But first, you have to believe your thoughts are worth sharing. The third house rules communication, thinking patterns, self-expression, writing, speaking, and how you connect to your immediate world. When Leo lives here, it's saying loud and clear, your voice is your flame. Leo in the third house means your thoughts carry presence. Your words shift rooms. Your message was made to be amplified. You're here to teach, inspire, storytell, and shine through how you communicate. But for many with this placement, early messaging stifled their natural expression. You may have been told, you talk too much. You're being dramatic. That's not important. Stay quiet. Or worse, you were ignored altogether and taught to doubt your ideas. So instead of expressing boldly, you began to edit yourself. You kept things light, clever, or surface level to avoid being too emotional, too deep, too you. But Leo in the third house isn't here to be palatable. It's here to be powerful, truthful, and wildly alive in the way it speaks. This placement can create fears around visibility through your voice, especially in environments where being outspoken, honest, or confident wasn't welcomed. So you may carry fear of saying too much or being misunderstood, difficulty sharing your real opinions, especially if they challenge the status quo, an internal critic that makes you overthink every message, caption, or sentence, pressure to always be on, witty, or entertaining when communicating, shame around your natural passion or dramatic tone, so you tone it down or water it down, or even avoidance of publishing, speaking up, or teaching despite feeling called to it. There may be a deeply embedded belief: if I speak up, I'll be dismissed. If I shine through my voice, I'll be judged. But Leo in the third house wasn't made to be subtle. You're here to turn heads with your words and help others find their truth by watching you own yours. Leo in the third often brings a strong presence in conversation, communication, and content creation, whether you claim it or not. So you may notice you are the voice of your friend group or family, funny, outspoken, the storyteller. You have a secret desire to write, speak, teach, or create, but perfectionism blocks the start. You may notice that you light up when you're talking about something that you're passionate about, but doubt your authority the moment you hit post. You might overanalyze how others perceive your tone, delivery, or message. You want to build a platform, but fear the responsibility or pressure of being seen as a voice. Or you were praised for being charismatic, but punished for being too loud, opinionated, or expressive. Your voice may have become a costume at times, masking your real thoughts to be liked, safe, or respected. But your truth, that's where your power has been hiding all along. Your soul came here to awaken others through your expression. You are a natural messenger, a radiant communicator, a truth teller who speaks in color and fire. You shine when you teach, write, speak, or create content that is bold, heartfelt, and original. When you tell your story in a way that reminds others of their own power. When you say the things others are afraid to say, but need to hear. when you lead conversations that heal, inspire, and light up people's minds, when you make knowledge feel playful, alive, and joyful again, when you show others how to express themselves through the way you own your own voice. You weren't made to be a quiet observer. You're here to spark minds, crack hearts open, and electrify rooms with your words. Displacement often leads to impact through social media, public speaking, podcasting, writing, teaching, or community leadership. Becoming a local or global voice in your field. And through using your voice as your brand, business, or gift. To activate Leo in the third house, you must stop editing your truth to be digestible. Your people aren't looking for perfect. They're looking for real. Now, to begin to align and heal Leo in the third house, the first step is to let your real voice come through. Even if it's passionate, even if it's messy, that's where your magnetism lives. Next is to share your story. Whether in writing, speaking, or content, your journey is medicine for someone else. Next is to treat your voice like a sacred instrument. Warm it up. Use it intentionally. Speak words that light you up. Next is to start before you feel ready. Publish the post. Record the video. Launch the podcast. Clarity comes through expression, not before it. Next is to rewrite the inner narrative. So ask yourself, who told me my voice didn't matter? What am I ready to believe instead? And finally, speak affirmations out loud. Literally, let your voice hear itself affirm its own power. You don't have to be loud to be impactful. You just have to be honest, unfiltered, and lit up by what you're saying. A great affirmation for your Leo-ruled third house is, my voice is powerful. My message is magnetic. I speak with heart, and I trust that my words carry light. I'd love to hear how this resonated with you, so of course, let me know in the comments. And be sure to like, pass this along to a friend, and subscribe so you stay aligned with the vibe. And if you're ready to step into your upgraded timeline, my signature one-on-one sessions and tools are all in the description box below. I appreciate you, and thanks so much for watching. If you have Leo in your fourth house, this is where you're learning that you don't have to dim your light to belong. You came here to be the flame that rewrites your entire lineage, to become the first in your family to thrive, not just survive. Leo in the fourth house means Your soul chose to anchor its radiance in your roots. This isn't just about having a warm home. It's about transforming the emotional DNA you inherited. You carry a legacy-breaking role. You are here to be the first to claim joy instead of generational pain, to redefine what home feels like, not a place of survival, but a sanctuary for self-expression. You're here to build stability through your gifts, not just hard labor. To show your family line what it looks like to create wealth, creativity, and belonging from the inside out. This placement is powerful because it says, you will not pass these wounds forward. You will be the one who changes everything. You are the ancestor your lineage has been waiting for. The one who proves that radiance can be safe, celebrated, and sustainable. Because this placement carries such profound frequency, it also holds deep fears of betrayal, loss, and exile. So you may carry guilt for wanting more than your family ever allowed themselves to have. Fear that shining too brightly means you'll be rejected or misunderstood by your roots. You may carry internal conflict between loyalty to the past and devotion to your future. Resistance to building a life that looks nothing like where you came from. Emotional habits of shrinking, caretaking, or dimming to keep others comfortable. A subconscious belief that if you outgrow your family's story, you'll lose love. This is why many Leo 4th house people oscillate between I want to build a legacy and I don't want to leave anyone behind. But the truth is, you don't abandon them by rising. You liberate them by showing what's possible. When the energy of Leo in the 4th is unclaimed, you may downplay your wins to avoid triggering jealousy or criticism. Feel torn between staying loyal to your family's struggles and stepping into your abundance. Live in spaces that don't reflect your true essence because claiming beauty feels too much. You may feel like the emotional parent of the family, holding everything together, but never fully receiving. You may struggle to feel at home in your own body and life. But when you begin to own this placement, you may build a home-based business that becomes your creative kingdom. You may be the first millionaire, first entrepreneur, or first cycle breaker in your lineage. You reclaim your right to have a beautiful, joy-filled home environment. You may host gatherings that heal and inspire your chosen family. And you may feel an unshakable belonging within yourself no matter who understands you. This isn't just about personal success. It's about rewiring the template for everyone who comes after you. Your soul came here to turn the lights back on in the parts of your lineage that went dark. You're here to create emotional wealth, not just material wealth. To be the first in your family to claim happiness without apology. To break survival patterns so your children or your inner child know that love doesn't require self-sacrifice. You're here to build a sanctuary where creativity and prosperity can thrive. To show that stability and radiance can coexist. And to teach your lineage that home is not a prison, it's a stage for your soul. Whether you're running a business from your living room, healing ancestral trauma through therapy and ritual, creating a home that reflects your boldest self, or being the cycle breaker who rewrites the story. You are the embodiment of the permission your ancestors never had. To activate this placement, you must release the belief that belonging requires shrinking. To achieve this, the first step is to honor your roots without inheriting their limitations. You can love your family and still live differently. Next is to create a home that feels like your throne. Every detail should remind you you are worthy of beauty, comfort, and success. Next is to celebrate your milestones. Being the first to do something big isn't arrogance, it's ancestral healing. Next is to release the guilt of outgrowing old dynamics. You don't serve anyone by staying small. Next is to reparent yourself. Give your inner child the love, praise, and safety they were missing. And finally, build wealth unapologetically. Financial expansion is part of your soul contract. It's how you prove a new story is possible. Your radiance in the home heals everyone connected to you, whether they understand it or not. A great affirmation for your Leo-ruled fourth house is, I am safe to shine in my roots. My success uplifts my lineage. My home reflects the truth of who I am. Of course, you know I love to hear how this resonated with you, so be sure to let me know in the comments. And if this spoke to you, be sure to like it, share it with someone you love, and subscribe to stay in the vibe. And if you're ready to claim the version of you that doesn't settle, my signature one-on-one sessions and tools are all in the description box below. I appreciate you, and thanks so much for watching. If you have Leo in the fifth house, this is where you're learning that joy isn't a distraction, it's the path to your purpose. If you have Leo in the fifth house, you are joy, you are magic, you are art. But somewhere along the way, you learned to dim it to survive. Leo in the fifth house is a cosmic spotlight directly over your heart. This is Leo's natural domain, so its energy here is potent, raw, magnetic, and deeply personal. You're not just meant to shine. You can't help but to do so when you're in alignment. This placement says your life force flows through creativity, love, expression, romance, passion, and play. You are divinely designed to bring more color, boldness, and happiness into the world, not because you're trying to be seen, but because your radiance is medicine. But this house also rules risk, and Leo here carries a sacred risk. Being fully seen in your joy and still feeling unworthy, misunderstood, or abandoned. So many with this placement learned early that their light attracted envy, control, criticism, or rejection. And over time, this can develop a painful association. If I shine too brightly, I'll lose love. So instead of playing, you perform. Instead of creating, you perfect. And instead of enjoying life, you edit yourself. But Leo in the fifth house wasn't meant to earn happiness. It was born to be happiness. Now, your biggest blocks often come from early emotional programming that taught you joy had to be justified. So you may carry fear of being too much in relationships or group settings, a tendency to dim your personality to keep others comfortable, creative perfectionism or paralysis, only allowing yourself to create when it's good enough to be praised. Guilt around pursuing pleasure, fun, or unconventional passions. Shame around childlike wonder, like it's immature or indulgent. Fear that your sparkle will attract attention you can't control or sustain, as well as confusion around romantic expression, such as giving your full heart, then fearing abandonment. This placement often holds the wound of performing for love. So you may have learned to only show the shiny parts, but not your softness, your messiness, or your truth. Leo in the fifth house energy can manifest in both aligned and distorted ways, depending on how much you've healed your relationship with visibility, creativity, and love. So you may notice a deep craving to create, but cycles of procrastination or burnout around finishing things. Being the fun one in your friend group, but feeling unseen emotionally. Natural charisma, humor, and playfulness paired with a fear of not being taken seriously. romantic highs and lows that feel like performance approval loops, a desire to be recognized for your art, ideas, or essence, but fear that others will judge, steal, or dismiss them. Giving your heart away too quickly and a confusing love with applause, as well as wanting children, literal or metaphorical, like passion projects, but fearing you won't do it right. There can also be a hidden inner child that never felt like it got to just be, to make a mess, to play with abandon, to be witnessed without performing. In this lifetime, your soul is meant to shine in a specific way. With Leo in your 5th house, you are the artist of your life. Your soul came here to embody joy as a sacred act of leadership, to remind people that self-expression isn't frivolous, it's divine. You are meant to shine through creative pursuits such as art, writing, fashion, theater, music, dance, or design, as well as embodied play and self-celebration, romantic or spiritual partnerships that feel like co-creation, not codependence, projects that make people feel something real, teaching others how to express themselves boldly and unapologetically, leading communities that center joy, inner child healing, or creative liberation, as well as living life as if you are the masterpiece. Your soul carries a contract to normalize aliveness, to show that radiance is safe, that happiness is allowed, that creativity is sacred, not selfish. You didn't come here to be liked. You came to be unforgettable. This placement is about being the flame that lights other people's fire, not by teaching, but by being fully, wildly, unapologetically yourself. To fully embody this placement, you must reclaim your birthright to create, play, and shine without needing applause to validate it. The first step to doing this is to make joy a daily practice. It's not a reward, it's your baseline. Dance in the mirror, doodle, romance yourself. Let life flirt with you again. Next is to let yourself create bad art. Not everything you make has to go viral or make money. Make messes. Be seen in process. It's healing. Next is to heal your relationship with being too much. The people who are threatened by your fire were never meant to stand in your light. Next is to practice romantic self-expression. Write love letters to yourself. Plan dates with yourself. Treat your body and soul like a temple. Next is to rewrite your story around visibility. So journal or speak aloud. What would I create if I wasn't afraid of judgment? And finally, celebrate small wins loudly. Your soul doesn't grow from perfection. It grows from permission. And most of all, reparent the part of you that had to perform to feel loved. Let that child be messy, silly, bold, loud. That's where your gold is buried. A great affirmation for your Leo-ruled 5th house is, my joy is sacred. My creativity is divine. I give myself full permission to shine without apology. I'd love to hear how this resonated with you, so definitely let me know in the comments. And of course, be sure to hit like, send this to someone who needs this reminder, and subscribe to stay tapped in. And if you're ready to step into your upgraded timeline, my signature one-on-one sessions and tools are all in the description box below. I appreciate you, and thanks so much for watching. If you have Leo in the 6th house, this is where you're learning that being of service doesn't mean shrinking. It means shining through what you do daily. You're not here to be useful. You're here to be impactful. Your light is meant to lead in your everyday work, not get lost in it. Leo in the 6th house places your radiance inside your daily rhythm, service, health, and sacred responsibility. It means that your soul came here to shine through what you do consistently. So, how you serve others, how you support systems, how you care for your body, and how you show up even when no one is watching. But Leo isn't quiet. Leo performs. So what happens when the house of humble service gets a royal flame? You get a soul who's here to redefine what it means to be useful. Not through self-sacrifice, not through people-pleasing, but through presence, intention, heart, and visibility. Leo in the 6th is the person who was told, do your job quietly. Be helpful, not loud. Don't make it about you. But your soul came here to light up the world through the quality of your contribution. You're not just here to complete tasks. You're here to do it with style, soul, and leadership. Now, this placement often comes with programming that equates worthiness with performance, but not in a glamorous stage light Leo way. It's more in a grind until you prove yourself way. So you may carry burnout from trying to be everything to everyone. Perfectionism that keeps you over preparing and under celebrating. Feeling invisible or unappreciated in the workplace. Shame around asking for help or recognition, like you should just do your job and be grateful. Health issues that flare when you're suppressing your joy or overworking your nervous system. Or even inner pressure to always be improving, fixing, tweaking, optimizing yourself and others. This house is often tied to control and overfunctioning. So when Leo energy gets suppressed here, it can manifest as controlling your appearance, obsessing over productivity, being overly critical when you fall short of perfection. At its root, this placement carries the subconscious belief: if I'm not performing perfectly, I'm replaceable. Leo in the sixth house often means that you do a lot behind the scenes, but your heart is craving to be seen for it. So you may notice a hidden desire to lead or teach, but you stay in support roles out of fear. You may constantly give 110%, yet feel undervalued or overlooked. You may notice that you attract work environments where your creativity is stifled by routine, or a love-hate relationship with structure. You crave freedom, but you function best with rituals that honor your soul. You may also notice a deep desire to make your daily life feel beautiful, but feeling guilty for making it too much about you. You may also notice a calling toward creative or healing careers, but staying stuck in practicality. You may also notice health symptoms when your soul is bored, trapped, or emotionally neglected. This placement also loves rituals and beauty in the mundane, but may suppress it if it's not productive. In this lifetime, having Leo in your sixth house means your soul came here to restore happiness, radiance, and leadership in the everyday. Leo in the sixth is the cosmic reminder that how you do something matters as much as what you do. Your light isn't meant to flicker out in the name of service. Your presence itself is a service. You are here to lead with warmth, not duty. To bring beauty and creativity into workplaces, systems, and daily structures. To make self-care sacred again, not as a trend, but as a soul responsibility. You're here to inspire others to stop performing and start showing up with heart. To create daily rituals that feel like devotional acts. And to turn routines into art and labor into light. This is also a beautiful placement for running a creative or healing business that helps others with structure, systems, or embodiment. Even teaching others how to regulate their nervous systems through joy and intentional habits. Leading in holistic health, wellness, or personal development spaces, as well as offering mentorship or coaching rooted in heart-led consistency. Your soul shines when it stops trying to prove itself and simply shows up in honor, grace, and radiance in everything you do. You align with this placement by letting go of perfection as a standard and letting your personal brilliance guide your routine. Now, to heal and activate this energy, the first step is to ritualize joy. So turn everyday tasks into heart-led acts. Light a candle before you write. Meditate over your meals. Make your to-do list with music playing. Next is to create work that reflects your magic. Even if you're in a support role right now, start bringing your unique style and voice into the mix. Next is to rest without guilt. You are not a robot. Taking time to recharge amplifies your light. It doesn't dim your value. Next is to uncouple service from sacrifice. You can show up fully without betraying your energy. Boundaries are love. Next is to treat your body like royalty. Prioritize wellness from a place of reverence, not control. You are the temple, not the servant. And finally, celebrate your contribution daily. Don't wait for others to notice. Acknowledge yourself. Your work is sacred. You were never meant to hustle in the shadows. You were meant to glow in plain sight, even on a Tuesday afternoon, even when doing small things, even in the in-between moments. A great affirmation for your Leo-ruled 6th house is, my presence brings light to everything I do. I honor my energy, lead with joy, and treat my daily life as sacred. Let me know what clicked for you and drop it in the comments. And of course, be sure to hit like, send this to someone who needs this reminder, and subscribe to stay tapped in. And if you're ready to follow the nudge that brought you here, my signature one-on-one sessions and tools are all in the description box below. I appreciate you, and thanks so much for watching. If you have Leo in the 7th house, this is where you're learning that love isn't a spotlight that you chase. It's one you're meant to share. You came here to shine in love, not shrink for it. But first, you must remember that you were never made to be in the supporting role in someone else's story. Leo in the 7th house means your soul craves partnerships where you feel fully seen, cherished, and celebrated. Not just loved, but witnessed. Not just accepted, but applauded. This placement isn't about needing attention. It's about needing reciprocal radiance. You are here to experience relationships where both people shine, where love isn't about survival, performance, or pleasing, but about presence, heart, and mutual upliftment. At its core, this placement says, I shine when I'm loved well, and I love best when I'm allowed to shine. But for many, this sacred desire was warped early on. Instead of shining with others, you may have learned to shine for them, to earn love through perfection, performance, or pleasing. You may have been the one who showed up fully only to feel invisible, or the one who gave your whole heart only to lose yourself in the process. Leo in the seventh house holds a sacred invitation. Let love feel like a mirror, not a spotlight. Let it reflect your light back to you, not consume it. Because this placement sits across from your rising sign, it holds the key to how you abandon yourself to be chosen. You may unconsciously contort your personality to be what others want, especially in romantic or emotionally close partnerships. So, some common blocks with this placement includes choosing partners who need you to stay small so they can feel big. Feeling like you have to entertain, impress, or emotionally perform in order to be loved. Deep shame around wanting attention or adoration in love, so you settle for crumbs. Losing yourself in relationships, then resenting the person you made your center. Attracting emotionally unavailable partners because you don't believe love will stay if you're too much. As well as equating romance with validation and going quiet when you don't get it. There may be a fear that if you show up fully with your desires, your charisma, your needs, you'll be too extra, too demanding, or you'll be left. So you shrink and silently wait to be seen. But Leo in the seventh wasn't meant to wait for recognition. It was meant to co-create love as a sacred performance where both people are stars. Leo in the seventh house creates a dynamic where you attract people who mirror back your unhealed self-worth, where you find yourself stuck in auditioning for love patterns, always proving your value, where you're the life of the party publicly, but deeply lonely in intimate relationships, where you experience emotional highs and lows in love, constantly chasing the next spark, where you feel the most confident when someone is in love with you, but shaky when you're alone, or where you avoid being single because you associate relationships with identity, validation, or creative expression. You may also find that you light up in partnerships, romantic, business, or platonic, but often give more than you receive. You may also find that you are attracted to bold, charismatic partners who reflect traits you haven't fully owned yet, or that you feel safest being admired, but most vulnerable being emotionally known. This placement teaches that you don't have to earn love with effort. You magnetize the right love by standing in your fullness. Having Leo in your seventh house means that your soul came here to experience the kind of love that amplifies your light. You are here to rewrite the narrative that says being loved requires you to shrink, sacrifice, or perform. You're not here to be chosen because you're useful. You're here to be chosen because you're you. Leo in the seventh house is about sacred union, not just with another person, but with your own self-worth. And when that union is intact, you attract relationships where you're both celebrated, not competing, where you're emotionally generous, but not self-sacrificing, and where you can lead and be loved, not hide your brilliance to keep the peace. Your soul shines through partnerships that value emotional honesty, play, and shared purpose. Through being seen and celebrated in love for who you are, not what you do. Through co-creating happiness, art, business, or healing with others. Through leading with both strength and softness in relationships, and choosing connection that feeds both. As well as teaching others what conscious, heart-led partnership actually looks like. You didn't come here to audition for love. You came here to embody it. To truly align with Leo in the seventh, you must stop outsourcing your value and instead build relationships that mirror your truth. To heal and embody this placement, the first step is to celebrate yourself outside of partnership. Don't wait for someone to tell you you're special. Tell yourself. Make it a practice. Next is to create rituals around self-love, mirror work, self-dates, romanticizing your solo life, not to prepare for love, but because you deserve it now. Next is to notice who you shrink around. That's not love. It's survival. Choose to be around people who amplify your brilliance. Next is to rewrite what love feels like. It's not adrenaline. It's being safe to be seen. Next is to express your desires out loud. Leo wants to be heard. Say what you want clearly, directly, proudly. And finally, choose partners who celebrate your joy, not just tolerate your light. The right person won't flinch when you shine. They'll glow with you. Partnership isn't the prize for performing. It's the playground for two whole people to meet in truth. A great affirmation for your Leo-ruled seventh house is, I am worthy of love that honors my light. I no longer shrink to be chosen. I shine and attract what reflects my truth. If this stirred something in you, say so in the comments. I want to hear it. And of course, go ahead and send this to a friend who's ready for a shift, and subscribe so you don't miss what's next. And if you're ready to start living the version of your life that you actually deserve, my signature one-on-one sessions and tools are all in the description box below. I appreciate you, and thanks so much for watching. If you have Leo in the 8th house, this is where you're learning that power isn't about control. It's about being courageous enough to be seen in your full intensity. You were born with a magnetic presence that can't be faked, but you've learned to hide it out of fear it might destroy you or push people away. Leo in the 8th house brings light into one of the most hidden, private, and emotionally complex areas of the chart. The 8th house governs intimacy, trauma, transformation, shame, psychological depth, sexuality, and shared power. And Leo here says, your soul came to illuminate what others fear to look at. Your radiance isn't just playful or performative. It's potent. You carry a kind of emotional and energetic presence that can awaken, provoke, and transmute. But this intensity can feel overwhelming, especially when your earliest experiences taught you that being too visible in your truth leads to loss, betrayal, or shame. This placement often holds a paradox. I want to be fully known, but I'm terrified of what will happen if I am. So instead of owning your emotional power, you become the performer, the seducer, the mystic in the shadows, the one who captivates without being truly touched. But your soul didn't come here to perform transformation. It came to embody it. Leo in the 8th house holds deep fears of vulnerability, abandonment, and being emotionally too much. So this often results in holding your real emotions behind charisma or control, believing that you must earn intimacy by being interesting, seductive, or powerful. Keeping your pain private while showing the world a curated version of confidence. Feeling threatened by the idea of being seen in your mess. Fearing that if people saw your emotional depth, they'd leave, or worse, use it against you. Struggling with fear of betrayal, especially in relationships where you feel emotionally exposed. This placement can also create an energetic loop of, if I keep control, I'll be safe. If I lose control, I'll lose everything. You may have grown up around dynamics where love was linked with manipulation, secrecy, or control. So now letting anyone see the real you feels like a risk your nervous system isn't ready to take. Leo in the 8th can manifest as a magnetic, confident exterior, paired with private emotional chaos or intensity beneath the surface. So you may notice that you hold people at arm's length emotionally, even if you're physically close, that you're drawn to deep karmic relationships, but struggle to fully surrender. You may notice that you have a strong interest in psychology, transformation, shadow work, or the occult, but resist applying that lens to your own pain. You may be charismatic, mysterious, and captivating, but afraid of letting anyone know what you really fear or desire. You may have a hard time receiving, whether it's money, intimacy, or support, without feeling indebted. And you may subconsciously associate being seen with being unsafe, exposed, or energetically drained. There may be periods of emotional isolation where you disappear from others to tend to your internal underworld alone, afraid that letting anyone witness your rawness would be a burden. Leo in the 8th house is the placement of the sacred alchemist. Your soul shines by turning shame into power, secrecy into truth, and survival into sovereignty. Leo in the 8th house means your radiance is meant to come from the inside out, not from applause, but from courage, not from performance, but from presence. You are here to bring light to taboos, sexuality, death, trauma, money, shadow work, betrayal. You're here to create safe containers for others to be raw, real, and resurrected because you've lived it. You're here to be a guide for emotional and spiritual rebirth, to embody the truth that vulnerability is not weakness, it's magnetic, to inspire others not by being perfect, but by being powerful in your transparency. You are here to normalize intensity, transformation, and emotional nakedness. This placement often calls you into healing roles: coach, mystic, artist, healer, sex educator, intuitive guide. Whatever the path, your presence shines when you own your scars as part of your shine. You are meant to be the light that enters the cave, not avoids it. You align with this placement by no longer hiding behind the armor of control, perfection, or performance, and instead stepping into courageous emotional honesty. Now, to heal and embody this placement, the first step is to practice safe emotional exposure. Share your truth with one trusted person. Let someone see your process, not just your polished insights. Next is to release shame around desire. Leo wants to be adored. That's not a weakness. You are worthy of being cherished, touched, and chosen in your fullness. Next is to reclaim your sensuality. Let pleasure, touch, intimacy, and expression be healing, not performative. Next is to create spaces for emotional transparency, whether in art, content, or private relationships. Let your realness lead. People feel your depth and crave your honesty. Next is to work with the body. Somatic healing, nervous system regulation, and breath work can help you feel safe being seen without needing control. And finally, let people love you in your mess. You don't have to transform alone. Let support be part of your rebirth. You don't need to be perfect to be powerful. You don't need to hide to protect others. Your transparency is the very thing that sets others free. A great affirmation for your Leo-ruled 8th house is, my vulnerability is my power. I let myself be seen in my fullness, and I trust that my depth is safe, sacred, and magnetic. I love to hear how this resonated with you, so be sure to let me know in the comments. And if this spoke to you, like it, share it with someone you love, and subscribe to stay in the vibe. And if you're done playing small with your power, my signature one-on-one sessions and tools are all in the description box below. I appreciate you, and thanks so much for watching. If you have Leo in the 9th house, this is where you're learning that your truth is meant to be shared, not shrunk to make others comfortable. Your soul didn't come here to follow the map. It came to draw it. And the more boldly you speak your truth, the more others find their way. Leo in the 9th house is your soul's invitation to shine through truth, wisdom, belief, and vision. This is the house of philosophy, expansion, spirituality, higher education, publishing, broadcasting, cultural exploration, and global purpose. Your light was never meant to stay local. You are here to inspire others by living and speaking your truth. You are naturally magnetic when you are connected to something bigger than yourself. A mission, a message, a belief system, or a creative calling. And that connection turns into a beacon, someone who lights the path for others just by embodying what they believe. But for many with this placement, early experiences taught them that being loud, confident, or convicted in their beliefs made them too much, too naive, or too out there. So they learned to hide their voice to stay relatable. This is the classic energy of the one who has wisdom to share, but keeps second guessing it, waiting for credentials, more time, or the right moment to step up and speak. But Leo in the 9th wasn't meant to wait. It was meant to lead boldly, even if no one follows at first. This placement can create an internal war between wanting to be respected for your ideas and fearing you'll be rejected for them. So, some common blocks with this placement includes fear of being seen as arrogant, preachy, or too full of yourself if you speak boldly. Suppressing your natural leadership because it threatens people who still live in fear. Believing you have to be perfectly educated, healed, or qualified before you can share your truth. Playing small in spiritual or intellectual communities because your light feels unrelatable. Or hiding your real beliefs to maintain relationships or avoid backlash. There may also be a subconscious loyalty to staying humble because visibility has been associated with betrayal or ego in past lives or ancestral memory. So instead of standing in your truth, you over-explain it. You water it down. You turn down the volume. But your truth was never meant to whisper. It was born to roar. Leo in the 9th often brings a mix of quiet brilliance and loud self-doubt. So you might be deeply passionate about a topic, such as astrology, healing, education, spirituality, culture, storytelling, but feel blocked when it's time to teach it. You might crave travel, global impact, or creative freedom, but fear instability or being misunderstood. You might have an inner knowing that you're meant to be a guide, but feel like an imposter when stepping into that role. You might overconsume information out of fear you're still not ready enough to share your own. You might worry that your confidence will offend others or attract criticism. And you might even keep your most powerful messages in drafts, journals, or daydreams instead of publishing them. This placement also creates a hunger for freedom, truth, and meaning. But if you don't feel safe claiming that freedom, you might settle for stability that secretly drains you. Having Leo in the 9th house means your soul came here to expand consciousness by embodying joy, boldness, and truth. You're a cosmic messenger, a radiant preacher of purpose, a wisdom holder whose presence teaches as much as their words. You're not here to just absorb knowledge. You're here to channel it, express it, live it out loud. This placement shines through inspiring others with your story, creativity, or life philosophy. Teaching or speaking on topics you're passionate about, formally or casually. Creating platforms, books, courses, or content that shares your light with the world. Traveling or exploring new cultures to expand your soul's radiance. Using your voice to challenge outdated beliefs with compassion and courage, as well as bringing joy and flair to spiritual spaces, academic circles, or communities that need a fresh take. Whether it's through your writing, teaching, social media, business, or how you show up at brunch, you are here to make truth feel exciting, liberating, and alive. Your leadership is not a performance. It's a transmission, and the world needs it. To embody Leo in the ninth, you must stop waiting for permission to believe in yourself. To begin to align and heal this placement, the first step is to speak your truth, even if it's still evolving. You don't have to have all the answers to be a guide. You just need your voice. Next is to take up space in spiritual or educational spaces. You're not a student forever. You're a teacher now. Next is to write the book, start the podcast, lead the workshop. Your soul is ready. Your timeline doesn't have to match anyone else's. Next is to explore without guilt. Travel, try new practices, expand your worldview. Not for escapism, but because your joy expands your consciousness. Next is to be okay with being too much. Not everyone is meant to get you. The ones who are, they need your full volume. And finally, let your beliefs evolve and share them anyway. You are allowed to grow. People resonate more with realness than polish. You didn't come here to sound smart. You came here to set people free. A great affirmation for your Leo-ruled ninth house is, my truth is a gift. I share my light boldly, and I trust that my voice expands the world in ways I can't yet imagine. I'd love to hear how this resonated with you, so be sure to let me know in the comments. And of course, be sure to like, pass this along to a friend, and subscribe so you stay aligned with the vibe. And if you're ready to stop watching and start leveling up, my signature one-on-one sessions and tools are all in the description box below. I appreciate you, and thanks so much for watching. If you have Leo in the 10th house, this is where you're learning that success isn't about status. It's about letting the world see who you really are. You weren't born to quietly climb a ladder. You're here to lead in a way that lights up the room and to stop apologizing for wanting to be known for it. Leo in the 10th house means your soul is here to radiate through your public role, career path, and legacy. The 10th house is the highest point in the chart, the midheaven. It's where the world meets you, where your name, reputation, purpose, and leadership live. So when Leo rules this house, you carry a karmic contract to be seen, but not just seen for your achievements, seen for your heart, creativity, and essence. This is the energy of someone who was born to influence, inspire, and embody a purpose that leaves a mark. You came here to take up space in the public eye, to own your brilliance, to be remembered. But for many with this placement, early experiences distorted the desire to be seen. So you may have been told, don't be so full of yourself. You need to be more realistic. Being in the spotlight is arrogant or attention seeking. So instead of stepping up, you played it safe. Instead of owning your leadership, you waited for permission. But your 10th house Leo doesn't want permission. It wants presence. Now, this placement often creates a deep push-pull between wanting to be known and fearing what visibility might cost you. So, you may carry a fear of being judged, canceled, or called out if you step into public visibility. Guilt or shame about wanting recognition or fame, especially in spiritual communities. Feeling like you're only valuable if you're constantly doing, achieving, or excelling. Performance pressure, burning out because you're trying to be perfect in your public image. Imposter syndrome when it comes to leadership roles. And fear of outshining your parents, mentors, or people you love. You may have internalized the belief that being too visible makes you a target, so you stay in the background even when you know you're meant to lead. But Leo in the 10th wasn't born to blend in. You're not just meant to succeed. You're meant to define success on your own radiant terms. Leo in the 10th often gives you a natural magnetism in your career or public role, even if you try to downplay it. So you may notice that you're the one people look to for leadership, even if you didn't ask for it. You may feel a deep calling to do work that is expressive, creative, heart-centered, or bold. You want to be known for your impact, but feel uncomfortable claiming your accomplishments. You may notice that you're highly visible in your field, but privately feel like an imposter. You may have dimmed your presence to make others feel more comfortable in group or workplace settings. You may fear success because deep down you equate it with loneliness, isolation, or burnout. And you may desire legacy, but you're afraid of being misunderstood or criticized for how you choose to lead. This placement often comes with a secret ache. I want to do something that matters, but I'm scared of what it means to really be seen. Your soul came here to lead with light, to redefine what leadership, visibility, and purpose look like when they're rooted in authenticity and heart. Leo in the 10th house is not about chasing status. It's about becoming someone the world remembers because of the way you made people feel. You shine when you take up space without shrinking or apologizing. When you own your role as a leader, creator, or public figure. When you build a business, brand, or legacy that reflects your soul, not just your resume. When you infuse creativity and heart into industries that have grown cold or mechanical. When you inspire others through your confidence, not just what you do, but how you do it. And when you show that true success is a vibration, not a title. Whether it's entrepreneurship, content creation, performance, spiritual leadership, coaching, writing, or activism, you are meant to be seen being you. You don't have to act powerful. You are powerful. The moment you stop hiding, the world rearranges around your radiance. To align with this placement, you must stop pretending your dreams are too much and start treating them like destiny. Now, to work with and heal this energy, the first step is to stop dimming your glow to fit someone else's mold of professionalism. Your personality is your brand. Next is to define success for yourself. What lights you up? Start there, not with society's metrics. Next is to celebrate your wins. You are allowed to be proud of what you've built. Visibility is not vanity. It's vibrational alignment. Next is to heal the fear of being too big. If your light makes someone uncomfortable, they were never your audience. Next is to let go of performing. You don't have to curate an image. Just lead with presence. People feel your authenticity. And finally, remember that your legacy is about impact, not approval. Your soul didn't sign up to be liked by everyone. It came to light a path for someone. You're not here to climb someone else's ladder. You're here to build the stage and then stand on it. A great affirmation for your Leo-ruled 10th house is, I lead with heart and show up in my full light. My success is sacred. My presence is powerful. And my purpose is meant to be seen. I'd love to hear how this resonated with you, so be sure to let me know in the comments. And if this spoke to you, be sure to like it, share it with someone you love, and subscribe to stay in the vibe. And if you're ready to claim the version of you that doesn't settle, my signature one-on-one sessions and tools are all in the description box below. I appreciate you, and thanks so much for watching. If you have Leo in the 11th house, this is where you're learning that fitting in isn't the goal. Being the light in the room is. You were born to lead the collective, not lose yourself in it. Your soul came here to influence culture, spark change, and build communities where everyone shines, starting with you. Leo in the 11th house is the soul signature of a heart-led visionary. The 11th house rules your communities, your future, your audience, your soul tribe, and the bigger movements you're here to shape. Leo brings charisma, courage, and creative leadership into the collective field. You're here to shine, not just for your own sake, but to ignite others. To be the kind of leader who inspires people to come alive, not fall in line. To build movements, platforms, content, spaces, or systems that remind people of their divine individuality. But for many with this placement, the early message was, tone it down. Don't stand out. We love you as long as you don't make us uncomfortable. So instead of leading, you observed. Instead of speaking up, you scanned the room and molded yourself to blend in. But Leo in the 11th was never meant to blend. It came here to redefine belonging, not by conforming, but by shining so others remember they can too. This placement often creates a deep fear of being too much for the group and a history of shrinking yourself to be liked. So you may carry fear of being ostracized for being bold, expressive, or opinionated. Wounds around friendships, being left out, copied, betrayed, or misunderstood. Imposter syndrome when it comes to stepping into leadership roles in communities. Self-sabotage in online spaces. Wanting to grow a platform, but fearing being seen too much. Difficulty finding your true soul tribe. So you keep watering down your essence to maintain surface level connections. As well as a pattern of attracting people who project jealousy, competition, or judgment onto your light. This placement often holds the subconscious belief, if I shine too brightly, I won't belong anywhere. So you may hide your sparkle. You shrink in group settings. You become the background supporter when your soul is wired to be a beacon. Leo in the 11th house often means you have a natural gift for community curation, cultural influence, and soul-aligned visibility. But you've been conditioned to fear your own leadership. So you might notice a pull to grow an audience or launch something bold, but resistance when it comes to visibility. Feeling emotionally isolated, even in large groups. Trying to find your place in the world by being what others want, then feeling empty anyway. Repeating cycles of being the emotional leader in friendships or communities while your own needs go unmet. A secret longing to be adored by your peers, but guilt or shame for wanting that kind of attention. Difficulty trusting people in group dynamics due to past betrayals or cliques. You may also crave soul aligned connection with people who get you, but don't know how to find them unless you show up as yourself. Your soul came here to be a catalyst for collective joy, creativity, and awakening. You are meant to lead movements, shift paradigms, and gather people into community, not by dimming your light to be relatable, but by letting your authenticity lead. This placement shines when you build platforms that amplify joy, confidence, healing, or creative expression. When you lead communities centered around individuality, not conformity. When you teach others how to shine by being the example, not the expert. When you use your voice, brand, message, or mission to reach the masses without losing your soul. When you normalize visibility as an act of liberation, not ego. And when you collaborate, co-create, and connect with people who fan your flame, not try to blow it out. Leo in the 11th house is the soul of the influencer, innovator, or culture shifter who's meant to shape the future through visibility with integrity. Your audience finds you the moment you stop trying to impress them and start embodying your truth. To activate this placement fully, you must release the idea that belonging requires blending in. To begin to align and heal this placement, the first step is to take up space online. Start the platform. Share the story. Your people can't find you if you're hiding behind the algorithm. Next is to lead with authenticity in every room. If you have to shrink to be accepted, it's not your tribe. It's a trauma reenactment. Next is to heal past friendship wounds. Write letters that you don't have to send to the people who made you feel invisible or replaceable. Then release them. Next is to create what you wish existed. The group, the vibe, the content, the movement. You're not too much. You are the prototype. Next is to start speaking to your future audience. Even if they're not here yet, the ones who need your voice will feel it in the field. And finally, redefine influence. It's not about being followed. It's about helping others remember who they are when they see you being fully you. The collective doesn't need another trend follower. It needs you, leading with joy, authenticity, and unapologetic presence. A great affirmation for your Leo-ruled 11th house is, I lead by being myself. My light calls in aligned community, and I trust that I belong in every room I shine in. Let me know what clicked for you and drop it in the comments. And of course, go ahead and send this to a friend who's ready for a shift, and subscribe so you don't miss what's next. And if you're ready to step into your upgraded timeline, my signature one-on-one sessions and tools are all in the description box below. I appreciate you, and thanks so much for watching. If you have Leo in the 12th house, this is where you're learning that you don't have to hide to stay holy. Your light is safe, even in the shadows. You came into this life with divine radiance, but somewhere along the way, you were taught to keep it behind the veil. Your soul mission now is to remember that being seen is not a threat. It's sacred. Leo in the 12th house places the sun's boldest energy behind the chart's most hidden room. The 12th is the house of the subconscious, past lives, spiritual memory, emotional isolation, soul contracts, divine union, and unseen service. This is where your inner star lives in silence, radiant, ancient, and waiting to be reclaimed. You were born with a magnetic light that is felt more than seen. It whispers rather than roars. You radiate without even realizing it. But because Leo is the sign of conscious identity, being tucked away in the 12th can make it hard to feel your own brightness. You may have felt invisible in childhood, misunderstood, like you had to suppress your sparkle, your creativity, or your joy to stay emotionally or spiritually safe. And because this house also holds ancestral and karmic memory, Leo here often points to past life wounds around visibility, persecution, or betrayal. You learn somewhere in your soul's journey, if I shine, I'll be punished. If I'm fully seen, I'll be taken down. So now, even though your radiance is undeniable, you keep it secret. You lead from behind. You perform only in safe spaces. You downplay your magic so you won't be exposed. But this placement isn't here to stay hidden forever. It's here to heal the belief that visibility is dangerous and rise from the mist to claim your divine right to be seen. Leo in the 12th often comes with a fear of visibility on a soul level. Not just ego insecurity, but a deeply embedded resistance to being seen in your full power. So you may carry a subconscious belief that your presence is too much or not meant for this world. Emotional exhaustion from holding everyone else's energy while ignoring your own needs. Intuitive gifts that feel overwhelming, confusing, or isolating. Deep imposter syndrome, even when you're highly talented or respected. Creative blockages tied to shame, religious guilt, or ancestral suppression. A fear that stepping into your own light will trigger loss, jealousy, or betrayal. A tendency to self-sabotage right when success or recognition starts to arrive. There's often an internal push-pull. I want to be seen, but only by the right people, in the right setting, on my terms, maybe later. But Leo in the 12th didn't come to be hidden in plain sight. It came to be spiritually revealed as a lighthouse, not a ghost. This placement often creates an internal world that is bright, creative, vivid, and yet rarely fully expressed outwardly. So you may notice a hidden longing to perform, lead, or be adored, while simultaneously fearing that kind of spotlight. Feeling more like a channel than a creator, that your art flows through you, not from you. Needing long periods of rest, solitude, or silence to feel spiritually balanced. A secret desire to be famous, well known, or recognized, but a fear of what that would mean for your peace or privacy. Difficulty fully owning your talents. Others see them clearly, but you deflect praise or doubt your worth. Dreams, visions, or synchronicities that guide your path, but you struggle to trust them. Feeling like you're living two lives, one public, one hidden, and your truest essence lives in the unseen one. There may also be a calling toward healing, art, mysticism, or divine service, but an unconscious belief that your work must stay anonymous, background, or modest. Your soul came here to heal the wound of hiding. You are meant to bring your radiance into the spiritual realm, to merge your inner mystic with your creative power, and to show the world that divine light can exist inside the quiet. You shine when you embody your spiritual gifts without guilt or shrinking. Bring heart and warmth into spaces that feel cold, clinical, or disembodied. When you use your voice, art, or presence as a healing transmission. When you lead, not from hierarchy, but from frequency. When you show others that sacred doesn't mean small, that spirituality can be joyful, expressive, bold, and magnetic. And when you trust that you don't have to choose between peace and purpose, you can be both radiant and protected. You are here to be a bridge between worlds, the seen and the unseen, the inner and outer, the personal and the collective. You are never too sensitive. You're just tuned in. And now your light is ready to come out of hiding. To work with Leo in the 12th, you must rewrite the belief that staying invisible is the only way to feel safe. To begin to heal and activate this placement, the first step is to create sacred rituals around visibility. Before sharing anything, content, your face, your truth, bless it, protect it, then release it. Next is to express creatively without censoring. Your art, writing, or message is your healing path. It doesn't have to be perfect. It has to be real. Next is to uncover your past life patterns, whether through dreams, astrology, or intuitive journaling. Find the root of your fear of being seen. Next is to practice spiritual protection. You can be visible and energetically safe. Learn what boundaries, tools, or rituals help you feel that way. Next is to use solitude to recharge, not retreat. You don't have to disappear to find clarity. You just need space to hear yourself again. And finally, let your softness be part of your power. You don't have to harden to lead. Your sensitivity is part of your gift. You don't have to be loud to be unforgettable. You don't have to be public to be powerful. But you do have to stop hiding from your own magic. A great affirmation for your Leo-ruled 12th house is, I trust that my light is safe. I allow myself to be seen, supported, and spiritually expressed. My radiance is divine. I love to hear how this resonated with you, so definitely let me know in the comments. And be sure to like, pass this along to a friend, and subscribe so you stay aligned with the vibe. And if you're ready to stop watching and start leveling up, my signature one-on-one sessions and tools are all in the description box below. I appreciate you, and thanks so much for watching.